The Lighter Burns, a mystery short story, translated based on the story by Shankar Dasgupta. Midnight Passenger. Chapter 1.
The late-night train stopped at a deserted station. A young man got down from the first-class compartment. The platform is empty. No people are to be seen anywhere. The young man took out a cigarette from his coat pocket and placed it on his lips. "Now put your hand in your coat pocket, pant pocket, to find matches." No, there isn't. Forgot to bring the match. He looked around the platform.
Deserted environment covered in winter fog. In the thick fog, he saw a very tall man, wearing a black coat with a large hat on his head, standing under a tree on the right side of the platform.
The young man walked towards the man. "Matches, please," said the young man with a cigarette in his mouth. Covering the man with a hat up to his eyebrows, the collar of his overcoat turned up, the man took from his pocket not a match, but a gas lighter that burned in the darkness.
And then the young man heard a bright light and a humming sound, not far from the station, in the dark and foggy tunnel. A mail train is coming along the railway line. "Here's the lighter,"
the man said in a very quiet, serious voice. The cigarette fell from the young man's lips. This tall, overcoat-clad man, whose forehead was covered by a long black hat, could now clearly see his face in the light of the lighter. Just like him. The mail train is approaching with the humming sound of the tunnel.
"Hey, Elvis!" The man whispered his name with a mysterious smile on his face. The young man recoiled in great fear. Humming shook the desolate hill country. The young man started running. "Elvis, don't run away!" The man shouted. "Stop! Stop, Elvis!" The young man paused. The man extended his long right arm covered in an overcoat to the running Elvis, his lighter in his hand. Just then Somnath's father entered the library room. Shocked by the excitement of the story and his father's fear, Somnath quickly put the book into the huge bookcase. Father entered the house and looked at Somnath with a serious face. Somnath left the house quickly. Somnath's adolescence is over. His curiosity about what is hidden or hidden is strong.
Dad had a huge library room, a huge bookcase on the wall filled with various types of literature from home and abroad. Rabindranath, Dostoevsky, Shakespeare, Bankim Chandra are also there. Where Jim Corbett's thrilling hunting story, as well as James Hadley Chase, Michael's Epitaph, Wasteland. One afternoon, Somnath took out a book from that collection. Midnight Express. Somnath doesn't remember exactly who wrote it. It didn't appear in a hurry. Page after page of amazing curiosity was slipping away from Somnath's eyes. And right there, forbidden by the mists of that lonely hill station. "Stop! Stop, Elvis!" Outstretched hand covered in that overcoat. Burning lighter in hand. Later, Somnath searches for the book. Didn't get where is the small paperback consumed in this huge bookcase. Midnight Express. Or maybe another book. Dad brought it for reading. Somnath didn't read the whole book. But Somnath can't forget.
That lonely platform. The long-bodied mysterious man. Cigarette falling from lips. A late-night mail train rushing through the tunnel. Humming, and in that cool, serious voice, "Stop, stop, Elvis."
Chapter 2.
Then 12 years passed. Somnath is now a young man of 30 years, established heart specialist doctor, 6 months married life. Somnath's father died 5 years ago. Somnath was in medical second year at that time. Somnath had night shift last week. Couldn't come home. Munman had to stay alone at home. Munman felt very bored at home alone. Somnath spends the romantic moments of his newly married life with the patients in the hospital for a week. Somnath has no night duty for a week from today. After dinner, Munmun and Somnath are now in bed for the night. The land phone kept on the bedside table rang. Somnath turned to his side and picked up the receiver. Dr. Somnath here. Malay says from the other end of the phone. Somnath, I speak Malay. Father's condition is very bad. Irresistible breathing, heart palpitations, suddenly veterated. Please, come once. Last week Somnath came to check up Malay's father, ECG reported. But how can I go at night? Somnath said. Somnath looks at the bed. Munman's face looks annoyed. Loose hair is spread on the pillow, on the face. Somnath. Malay called from the other side. Please, you come once. My car is in the garage for repairs since yesterday, says Somnath. Now take the train. I can give you the last train on the way back. Please, please, Somnath. Please do this for me. Malay says in a tearful voice. Somnath keeps the receiver of the phone. Get ready to catch the train. Munman forbids going so late at night. Somnath convinces Munman. This is not a hospital patient's call. His friend Malay is calling. Malay's father's condition is very serious. Somnath's father died of heart failure due to doctor's negligence. He reminds Munman.
Chapter 3.
For a few days, Somnath is remembering the days that have passed. This now, sitting in the fast class of the lonely empty train of this night, on the way to Malay's house, I suddenly remembered that childhood in Palashpur. Now at the age of 30, this is what happens to Somnath when he is alone. He was very fond of birds in his childhood. He used to know the name of a bird when he saw it. As a child, Somnath was gradually learning what greed, lust, envy, and hatred are called. Bird-loving Somnath once shot sand ducks with a slingshot on the riverbank with his friends. He himself did not understand why he killed the swan, but he didn't even touch that meat at the picnic in the forest. Somnath, who is calling in his heart? Somnath answered slowly. Remember. I remember. The night train runs fast. He has to get down after 7 stations. At Mau Batasi, station surrounded by small palm trees.
Batasi. Whose name was Batasi? I don't remember. I don't remember anymore. That strong body, 2 small eyes, like hard stones, puffy lips, beautiful chin, the faint smell of oil in the hair, those youthful days on the roof of the house in Palashpur, are not completely remembered.
Then the final year was going on in the medical college. My younger uncle called from home. Somnath, you come now. Your father's heart condition is very bad. A good doctor will bring.
Somnath could not come that day for an important case. Father did not survive.
Which station was passed? Can't see in the dark. A dim light flickered over the station's name. Why is the train stopping? Somnath came and stood in front of the door. Cropped paddy field on both sides. Somnath saw the light of the tower in the distance. That means it is not too late. The next station is Mau Batasi. Batasi, Batasi, Batasi. The wind blows like a howl in the north. Somnath got up shivering. Is it winter? The train is slow. Almost a midnight train. Midnight train. Suddenly a sleeping thought awakens in the head. A
paperback. What's the name? What? The mysterious man in the long overcoat of that night. What is the name? The train running through the tunnel shaking. The cigarette falling from the lips. What is the name?
Chapter 4. Mao Batasi. Under the light of the lantern, it is dimly visible. The train stopped, slowly. Somnath stood in front of the door of the first-class compartment. Step on the stairs. Somnath trembled as he stepped on the platform. Exactly the incident was like this. What an incident. A cigarette is smoked. Thinking in his mind, Somnath found his coat pocket and took out a cigarette. He put it on his lips. Matches. Matches needed to light a cigarette. Somnath looked for matches in his coat and pant pockets. This was all right. It was like that. Somnath thinks in mind. Cigarettes on these lips, matches was not found. Then what? Yes, I remember under a tree that Somnath sees a deserted foggy station under a palm tree. Yes, it was like that. Somnath remembers. That overcoat, cap on his head, going to the tall man. Matches have? Somnath asked like hypnotized, cigarette on lips. Covered in a long hat up to his brows, the collar of his overcoat turned up. The man took out a gas lighter from his pocket, flashing the darkness. Somnath knows all this. It was supposed to happen. That dark and fog-covered tunnel is shaking and running strong light and humming sound. This is the fire. Somnath looks back at the call of serious, calm voice, and while looking at it, the cigarette fell from his lips. Between the collar of the overcoat and the lowered hat, he saw his face in the light of the lighter. Just another Somnath. What is Somnath? How are you? That man, or another Somnath, whispers his name. Mysterious smile on the face. Somnath retreated in great fear. The humming hum shook the lonely little station. Somnath started running. Don't go, Somnath! The man forbids in a tight voice. Stop, Somnath! He extended his long arms covered with overcoat toward the running Somnath, lighter in hand. Running. Somnath once hit the door of a closed house in the middle of the field. The door opens. Somnath stumbles upon some packing boxes. He sat down with impossible panting. A little later, Somnath suddenly saw a burning candle floating in the void and a complicated face. Somnath was suffocated by fear. He tries to see better by hiding his hands. An old man, handcrafted porcelain plate, burning candle on it. Only the light has come to the face. The rest of the man is dark. You? The old man asked, looking at Somnath.
Me? Somnath gasps. I will go back by last train. It's cold outside. It's raining a little, so... Last train?
The man frowned. Then turn your head and listen carefully. That's the last train going, the man says without looking. Somnath can actually hear the sound of the moving train getting closer and closer. But if you shelter the dark night... Then Somnath gasped. If you don't mind. Okay, stay. The man steps up to go back. If you don't mind, give me that candle, Somnath says. The man turned around. He looks at the candle once. There is only one. He looked at it and said, then looks at Somnath. 2-1, moment. Well, keep it to yourself, said the man. Thank you very much, said Somnath to take the candle. The man didn't say anything, just smiled a little. Chapter 5. Somnath was lighting a cigarette by candlelight when the candle went out. The tall man in the overcoat stood in the open doorway. Somnath was shocked. The man sat on a packing box very close to Somnath. The candle is extinguished. The man looks at the candle once, then lit the gas lighter and put it in the packing box. It doesn't turn off. Looking at the lighter, said the man in a surprised voice. Somnath sees precisely another Somnath sitting opposite him, but her face is amazingly calm, like the childhood face of bird-loving Somnath without lines, expressionless, innocent face. "Do you remember?" Slowly, he asked Somnath. "What?" Scared voice came out from Somnath's throat. "That killed Sanduck." Somnath does not give any answer. "Batasi, remember Batasi?" he asked in a whisper. Somnath was shaken. "No one knows. No one." Whisperingly, she continued saying, "It was your second year of medical college. When the wrong medicine of your little knowledge could not destroy Batasis in the womb, the fetus of your child, then a very simple way, potassium cyanide." Somnath was shocked. No one knows. No one knows why Batasi suddenly turned blue in intense pain. Ah, she was very hungry then, like a new mother. You brought her a piece of meat, and it was mixed with potassium cyanide. "Why are you covering your face with your hands, Somnath? I know fear, sadness you don't have. You went on a date with Munmun when your father was suffering from unbearable breathing difficulties, pain and shaking." Somnath looked up in pain, and just another Somnath touches his hair. His fingers move from hair to face, touching Somnath's eyes, lips, chin. Just another Somnath plays with his fingers. "Killed Sanducks, Batasi's blue body. Red eyes due to father's breathing problem." He leaned over Somnath, whispering, "Don't remember. Don't feel sad. The candle goes out, Somnath. The lighter does not go out. The lighter burns, burns. Hate yourself, Somnath." Chapter 6. The next morning, a group of young cricketers broke into the abandoned house next to the field to look for their ball. While searching for the ball, they saw a strange sight. They gathered and watched. A man lies face down next to packing boxes, and surprisingly, the 10 fingers of the man's own hand are pierced with nails in his own neck.